Hi, I'm Sylvester Opoku, a member of the U.S. Air Force Reserve Command. At the Air Force, I perform personnel responsibilities and ensuring the well-being of my fellow airmen and maintaining their readiness. Additionally, I have accumulated 4 years of experience in the accounting and then the tax industry. Um, I specialize in tax return preparation, and I also review tax returns for both individuals and then corporation. Um, Upon my background in statistics, Python, and then machine learning, I have decided to make a deliberate transition from accounting to data analytics. To further sharpen my skills, I decided to enroll in the data analytics program with Savvy Coders, where I have gained proficiency in tools such as Tableau, SQL, Agile, Microsoft Excel, and many other things. Yeah. During my time as Savvy Coders, um, I took on a role as a Scrum Master, and while I was a Scrum Master, I ensured that I prioritize the holistic well-being of my members, making sure that they are physically, emotionally, and socially supported and strong so that they can always consistently give out their best in achieving success. I also ensure that any hindrances that will, I mean, hinder our progress are taken care of. Yeah. And then in life, it's full of difficulties, challenges, and it's like up and downs everywhere. So in my journey in Savvy Coders, I also encountered some challenges, but with the help and support of my team members and the instructional team, um, I was able to successfully navigate through them all, including getting data for my Capstone project. Yeah. And then with the skills I've received from Savvy Coders, I would like to, answer the question, is there a very strong correlation between teams that offer high wages to their players and their success in winning trophies? Yeah. So getting my data. So trying to get the data for this project was quite difficult. And sometimes I did get some websites. However, you have to pay for them before you can access those CSV files and those Excel files. So I was like, wait a minute, I have received this skill from Savvy Coder, so why don't I use the web scraping method to derive or to generate my data? And that was what I did to get my data. So this image you see here is like a snippet of a code I put in Python to help me get my data. And then my data is coming from three different European countries, including England, Italy, and then Spain. Why did I choose three countries? Because when it comes to European football, or what Americans would say soccer, is is always between these three countries, England, Spain, and Italy. So that's why I was like, okay, those are the kingpins when it comes to European football. So let me just um go there and do my analysis. So the leagues I'm going to talk about is the Premier League, which is also called the English Premier League, um La Liga, which is called the Spanish League, and then Serie A, which is called the Italian League. So this is where I got my data from to work on my project. So when I got the raw data, I imported them into SQLite, where I did my data wrangling, cleaning all the noise, making sure the data is good to go and ready to be, to be used to make my analysis. So the first picture you see here, or the first graph you see here, is the graph for the English Premier League or the England League. So with this graph, let me just back out a little bit and define some things for us to get a better understanding of what we are doing here so far. So yeah, so this is the top four teams. So in each of the leagues that are played in both in Italy, Spain, and England, it's a 20-team league. So it's 20 teams that are playing. But I chose the top four because the top four is where each of them stood a chance of winning the title, but only one person became victorious. So I chose the top four. So the top four is the four best teams that performed very well on the league table. So it's like number one, number two, number three, and number four. That's why I chose the best four. And then you see some things here. That's say MP, point, wins, draw, and loss. So let me just explain that those ones really quick. So the MP you see here is the number of matches played, and then the point here is the number of points a team will get or the team amassed during the whole season. So if you win a game, you get 3 points. If you lose a game, you lose other 3 points. And if you draw a game, the two teams will share 1 point each. So that's how the game works. And then the wins is number of wins. The draw is number of draws. The loss is the number of losses the team had. So the graph here is showing the number of matches they played, the number of points each team had, the number of match they won, the number of points matches they draw, and then they drew, sorry, and the number of matches they also lost. So that's what this graph is saying. And the graph at the top is the graph for the wages for these top four teams that we are looking at. So I look at the number of wages they pay, no, the amount of wages they paid against the number of points they also had. So if you look at the first graph, this one is for, like I said, England. So in England, the top four teams were or are Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, and then Tottenham. So when you look at the league table, you see that Manchester City had the most points. They had 93 points, followed by Liverpool, and then Chelsea 74, and then Tottenham 71. So therefore, now this is the league table. So my question was to go and check the wage bill and see if there is strong or a very strong correlation between the wage bill and then that of the points they are getting. So if you look at the wage bills, you see that Chelsea is doing well and they were paying a lot of wages. Yeah. So they are paying close to 176 million pounds for the whole year for that league season. But when you come to the league table, so Chelsea is third here. Okay, well, let's see Man City, who was second in terms of the wage bill. They are the victorious, or they are the people that became the champions at that time. So yeah, all right. So then it means if you pay a lot of wages, it doesn't really necessarily means you're gonna win eventually. So that's what this graph is actually saying. But we have the enough proof to say that. Hold on, don't judge yet. So let's look at the second league of the European country I chose, and this one is Italy. So if you look at the Italian league, the top four is Juventus, International, Napoli, and then Milan. So let me just tell you one thing about these two teams. So International and Milan are both in the same city. They are in the same city. So this one is called International Milan. This one is called the AC Milan. Yeah, but if you look at the wage bill, you see that Juventus is actually paying high wages. Then it followed by International Milan, then Napoli, and then the Milan itself. Let's go down and see the league table. If you go down to see the league table, you see that Milan is coming first, followed by International or Inter, followed by Napoli, and then Juventus. So here it clearly states that Milan wasn't doing well in terms of paying wages high or paying high wages. However, they became champions. And then Juventus, who was paying a lot of money to their team players, were actually the fourth when we were comparing the top 14. All right. Do we still have enough reasons to conclude? No. So let me go on to the second. Oh, sorry. Let's go to the third league, which is the Spanish league. And in the Spanish league, we see that when it comes to the wage bill, Real Madrid is leading. They are paying 322 million euros. Okay, they are paying that much, followed by Barcelona, followed by Atletico Madrid, and then the fourth will be Sevilla. Let's go down to the league table. If you go to the league table, you also see Real Madrid is leading here, followed by Barcelona, followed by Atletico Madrid, and then Sevilla. This sounds interesting. Because if you look at the wage bill, Madrid, Real Madrid, sorry, is leading in terms of the wage bill. When it comes down to the league table, they are winning. Barcelona came second on the wage bill. When it comes down to the league table, they are also second. When we come to Atletico Madrid, they are third on the wage bill. When it comes here, they are also third on the league table. And for the top four, if you look at Sevilla, they are fourth on the league, and they are fourth in terms of the top four on the wage bill, and they are also fourth on the league table. So then we have three different data sets. Two are saying if you pay high wages, it doesn't necessarily means you're gonna win. And there's one data set that is saying if you pay high wages, you may stand or you stand a chance of winning. So as a data analyst, what should I do then? I have to look beyond just a graph and then do something to help me to finally conclude. So what I decided to doing is to plot the heat map for the data set. And then the heat map will help us to know the correlation coefficient between those columns. So correlation coefficient is also measured between -1 and then +1. So wherever correlation is 0, it means there is no relationship. That means if this happens, it will not affect this one. But if correlation is like 0.5, then it means there's like a fair relationship between the two things. If it's like 0.7, there's like a strong correlation between the two things. If it's like 0.8, it's like there is a stronger correlation between the two things. And if it's like 0.9 and above, like to 1, there is a very strong correlation between those two things. So my question was, is there a very strong correlation between team success and the money they pay to their players? So when you look at a heat map, because our primary focus is going to be on the number of points a team will get and the number of wage and the amount of wages they are paying, we are going to find the correlation between annual wages and number of points. So if we look at the chart, see that the amount of wages paid and number of points got is 0.7, which it tells us that hey, there is a strong relationship that hey, if you pay high, you stand a chance of winning, but it's not a very strong correlation. Okay, so then that's for the heat map for the English league. All right, so let's go to the heat map for the Italian league and see what's happening there. So if you go to the Italian league too, we see that the correlation between the annual wages and that of point is 0.76, which is strong. Okay, it's strong, but is it very strong? No, because it's still with less than 0.9. And then when we go to the heat map for the Spanish league, we also realize that the annual wages and that of point is 0.85, which is stronger. Okay, it's a stronger a correlation between the two, which means that if you pay, you might win, but it's not a very strong. Okay, and then, like I said, our question was, is there a very strong correlation between those two things? But if based on our analysis, we can conclude that no, there are other factors that affects you winning a trophy or a title. So our conclusion is based on our graphical analysis, it is evident that a team's success is influenced by factors beyond just the level of the player wages. So therefore, if I'm a team, if I am an investor, I should have this at the back of my mind that if I want to win trophies, it's not only paying high wages that will give you trophies, but there are other factors that we have to also look at. Okay, so then I had a business recommendation for all investors, potential investors, and the future investors like myself that hey, we should have a different plan. Why not invest in the youth development team? So that if you do that, you can cultivate talent and you can also build a strong team because a team that is built together, that has the cohesion, that has the bond, that can help you win trophies. So if you do that, it can help you save money and also build a better and a solid team that can help you win Lawrence. And then in the future, I also like to, you know, do my analysis using the average team salary because there are other variations in the team sizes. Okay, so team A might have like 45 team players, team B might have like only 25 team players, and team C might even have, let's say, 60 players. So if you are considering the wage bill for these individual teams and you don't factor out the average, you might be deceived by the number of, because if you have more players, you stand a chance of paying a higher salary than a team with, few number of players. So that's something I want to look at in the future when I'm doing my analysis so that I'll factor that one inside my analysis. And then, yeah, so, savvy coders, I don't know what to say, but I thank you very, very much. And I really appreciate everything you guys have done for me. I'm so, so, so happy to be with you guys. And then the thing you see here in the middle, the word you see here in the middle is Medase. Medase is my language from my home country, where what it literally means thank you in English. So now I've teach you something, okay? Medase, okay? Medase means thank you in English. So whenever you see me, you can say Medase so that we can flow together. All right. And then yeah, any question? And that is the end of my presentation. Okay.